All right, so I've got this monstrosity of a board here. It is 24 pounds and it's got 22.5-inch axle width outside of the wheels to outside the wheels. So it's pretty large, it's pretty heavy, and it's pretty different. And I built this for taking it to the sand dunes. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, and mostly what I want is to make a board that hopefully doesn't sink in the sand and see if I can ride on the dunes. But while I have it made, I don't just want to take it to the dunes, I also want to take it and ride it everywhere else and see how having all these wheels affects things. So I'm pretty curious about how, for instance, this is going to affect the grip. Actually, I can already tell it's different. Anyway, I just want to ride it in all these different scenarios and see what it does. So today I've taken it to Trailside here, and I'm going to be riding it on some of the berms and some of the easier trails. I'm too scared at the moment to put on bindings, so I'm just going to be riding it without bindings so I can bail, and I'll just have to make sure that I bail in a way that I don't get run over, because if that happens I may not recover. Right, here we go. We're going down the easiest course, Yabba Dabba Doo, and I'm actually, well, we'll see how it goes. It's slower, for sure already. Well, it's going. This wheel on the left is a little funny sounding, but it's not a problem. It's just trucking right along. I think it's pretty good. Whoa. Okay. Let's see how it carves. Ooh. Lost the rear there. Alright, so that easy trail was a little too slow for this board, so I'm going to try this faster and more difficult set of berms. This is the one I normally ride the most on, and I'm starting from, I'm doing like the bottom third of it. So let's see how this goes. I'm a little intimidated, but now I know it's so slow, that's pretty comforting. So here we go, turn into the berm. I'm not going to try to jump over those. These axles will bend. There's a pretty fun little turn here. Hey! So, that's pretty fun. It's pretty interesting, pretty different. Let me go a little further down. We'll talk about it. All right, so that was pretty interesting. So, first off, I was expecting this to feel pretty slow and cumbersome and how it steered, normally the wider you make the axle, the less nimble it feels. And so I was expecting to feel kind of like a drag to get it to move and steer and carve the way I wanted it to. And it definitely was not as responsive, but the difference was a lot smaller than I was thinking it was going to be. And I think part of that is the fact that it's just on dirt mountain boarding. When you're on the dirt, it just you can't take advantage of that much nimbleness in the first place, and so losing it is not something you notice as much. And I'm sure what also helped is the fact that all these wheels, they're able to spin independently. Each wheel is able to move at the speed it needs to accommodate the turn, or to go over the terrain it's going over, or whatever's happening. So that was pretty interesting. It still felt pretty capable and nimble. It does feel heavy. It feels like a tank. So my Colt board, it's just solid. It's just going to reliably get you to the bottom of the hill, and this feels a lot more like that now. You can just assault the hill, and this will kind of take it on a little bit more readily. And so that's an interesting feel. I feel a lot of that has to do with just the weight, and it just kind of charges through it because of its own weight now. Another thing is it's also just really, really slow. It does not carry its speed at all, and it's now even slower than the wheels that came on those really, really old wheels on my old Colt. And so these are all the Ground Industries Mac tires, and these are the fastest wheels I've ridden when you ride them, and just one set of 4. But riding 12, it's very, very slow. Noticeably slow. The other thing is the grip. I wanted to figure out what the grip was going to be like. It's definitely more hooked up. I feel like it doesn't just feel more hooked up, it also feels more weighty. And you can feel like somehow it feels like the extra weight translates into the grip and feel of it as much as having all this extra tread and ground surface. So yeah, it definitely has more grip, and then when it breaks loose, when the rear breaks loose, or when the board breaks loose, it doesn't just go away. On Trailside up there, the way that dirt is, and the gravel, when I break loose normally, the board's just kind of gone. And you're not going to get it back. I'd almost compare it to hydroplaning and riding on wet pavement. It's if you don't have those berms and you try to turn, or if you're going on the berm and you're going too fast, you just slip out of it and you're gone. And this does not have that characteristic. It maintains the grip more, and as you're sliding out, it still has a little friction going on that's giving you feedback, and you can kind of keep up with it more, and it doesn't escape out from under you quite so much. The last thing is it's just a smoother ride. I feel like having all this surface area and all these different wheels, as you hit something, a little bump or a rock, or the terrain's all uneven, it's kind of just averaging it out just a little bit more with all these wheels. And so it's just between that, the extra weight, and the charginess of it, it's actually a really comfortable board to go down the hill on. But it is intimidating when you stand on it and when you're just getting going, and you realize how in the way you would be if you got off the board and the board was still moving and ran into you. So it's intimidating that way, but it's not intimidating at all to just stand on and be like, okay, I'm going down the hill. So that is what this board was like, taking it on the bike park. Longboard Technology, over and out.